Welcome, friends, stoners, and Canafam to the latest episode of the Cannabis Chronicles. I am your boy, Dr. Bong, and we are coming to you live from the Black Unicorn Division Studios, Bronx, New York. And I want to shout out to all of our friends and partners in the show. Special shout out to Wild Bill Wofford. Signed up to be on the show tonight, but Wild Bill's been having a little situation, so we want to make sure that he's okay and everything's going well with him. So shout out to him and everybody else. So welcome, friends, stoners and Canafam, to the latest episode of the Cannabis Chronicles, presented by Starr Enterprises. And today's episode, the condition is, or are actually, GI disorders. So we're presented by Starr Enterprises. I'm your host, Dr. Bong. And this is the Cannabis Chronicles. And as I said, we're brought to you by Starr Enterprises. I'm Dr. Bong. And so hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a great week. Let me get myself situated here so I can see my script. Here we go. Okay. So tonight we're talking about something many people experience, but they don't always talk about it openly. They're called GI disorders. So digestive health affects everything, guys. It affects what you would normally talk about, your appetite, your nutrition absorption, your energy, your overall wellness. And for many patients, this is a daily situation that they have to go through. So you might know somebody who's dealing with that. And if you have or know somebody who's dealing with GI conditions, I was especially interested in adding or having Professor Waffles on, Wild Bill Wofford, because this is a subject that we talk about on the regular, and that's the condition that he suffers from. So we are the Cannabis Chronicles, presented by Starr Enterprises. I'm Dr. Bong, and tonight we're talking about GI disorders. So the question becomes, where does cannabis fit into gut health? So tonight we're going to explore this through four lenses. We're going to check it out through business, culture, health, and potpourri. All right. So as I said, I hope everybody's been well since last week. Everything is cool here. It's getting nice here in the Bronx. It's getting nice here in New York overall. I can look out over the Greenway and see a really beautiful spring. It's spring now, right? It's spring. See a really beautiful spring night. So let's begin. The cannabis industry is evolving. It's no longer just about products. Let's face it, we talked about it last week. We mentioned that it's about knowledge and being knowledgeable, and a patient, or excuse me, your bud tender being knowledgeable about how to recommend a medication or certification, how to recommend a product for you, depending on what it is that you have to deal with, depending on what it is that your condition, the symptoms associated with condition. We often said many times here at the Cannabis Chronicles that cannabis is not a cure. Cannabis would never, and if you hear somebody say that, that's just really, you know, I would say a niche. Excuse me, that would be somebody that I really wouldn't want to get my cannabis information from. You can go to the Office of Cannabis Management website and find out great information. I mean, even on this particular subject, or you can check out the shout out to National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, Normal. Shout out to them. There's a Bronx Normal, there's a nationwide Normal, and there's a New York Normal. So get involved. I'm having some tea. Yes, I have some ginger and green tea combination tonight. It comes in a package now where it's like not a tea bag. It's just like, it's a dissolvable crystals. Crystals dissolve, and voila, you have your drink. So I'm old school. I remember when you actually had to steep a tea bag. So what we do, Miss A and I, is we make the beverage, but we let it sit for a minute and then before we drink it. So shout out to Miss A. She's tired, so she's been indisposed right now. So the cannabis industry is evolving. Okay, so an article in Entrepreneur reports that New York cannabis sales have reached $3.3 billion. That's right. B billion with a B. I tried to say that. I've thought about that this morning since I read the article. And I was like, B as in billion. And it didn't come out the first time. It didn't come out when I tried to deliver the line. So, yes, $3.3 billion within the first 5 years of legalization. And guess what, folks? Yesterday, March 31st, 2026, was the 5 year anniversary of legalization of cannabis in New York. So happy legalization day, happily 5 year legalization to all those who consume, all those who use medical cannabis or cannabis. Actually, we made it legal, so cannabis in New York State legally. So in that article, that's a lot of chips. That's a lot of money. Shout out to everybody in the industry who's doing what they have to do, because again, folks do what I do. I educate. Shout out to the senior centers that I am going to be doing an event on 4/28, and that is, where is that? No, where is that? No, that's the Bronx Works. Stu Bronx Works. But as we get closer, I will let you guys know. So if you want to come check us out in person, in the flesh, who will be at this event. We're going to be talking about cannabis and senior citizens. And I always say senior citizens, cannabis and seniors, and how aging, cannabis and aging, that's the better, I think that's the title of it, cannabis and aging, what individuals need to know. And there's a lot of information. I mean, that's the part of the reason why we started doing the show, because there was in the time of the pandemic. Oop, took that to the wrong. In the time of the lockdown during the pandemic, we couldn't really communicate with each other, face to face. So we had to jump on these platforms. That's where this all started. I mean, I'm back on stereo. Shout out to Stereo app. Shout out to Spotify. Shout out to all of the places that you can check out the Cannabis Chronicles, and we appreciate you liking, sharing, and letting your friends and family know. Because listen, everybody, cannabis is not for everybody, but everybody knows somebody who can benefit from cannabis medically. So if you know someone who's reached their limit and they're exhausted. They've tried all kind of medications, and those medications, do they work? How well do they work for the individual, and what an individual what an individual's tolerances are, and there's just all kind of questions that you want to ask folks, in this medical space. And that's one of the things I learned in sales was, you want to find out what the person is looking for, trying to get the shot. Because what I'm doing is I'm recording actually in three ways. I'm recording here on, like I said, on stereo. Shout out to stereo and everybody listening there. And I am recording the actual audio on Audacity, so that I can then use the two tapes or the two takes, put them together, and get the best sound for the show. And again, just I'm experimenting. I'm just learning how to do different things. So, it is what it is. So, but like I said, getting back to the point, the article in Entrepreneur is that tells us something. That tells us something very, very, very important. Cannabis is no longer niche. Cannabis is mainstream. So the key takeaway from that, folks, is this: is simply is that as the market grows, so does the diversity of the consumers. You don't always have the same people who are your consumers. And one of the tenets of helping folks is talking to them, is understanding what it is that hopefully you can help them and get the right product that they're looking for. And we sometimes we don't really listen to folks, and that's where I feel, that's where, especially in sales, if you can talk to the individual that you have that rapport with, or you're trying to make that sale with, then you will all of I think all of the variables of the equation to complete that sale will be exposed, will be revealed to you in that conversation. We are the Cannabis Chronicles. I am your boy, Dr. Bong, and we are a weekly candid cannabis community conversation. Today's topic, we are talking about GI disorders in humans, and how cannabis has helped and can help many, many people deal with their so their digestive disorders, easy for me to say, right, folks? Inflammation and appetite related issues. If you're having problems digesting food, then can you imagine the psychological thing that you go through when it comes to whether you want to eat, or and we always say this because we talk about this when we talk about individuals who are under palliative care, or loss of excuse me it's skipping my memory right now, but I'm going to blurt it out in a second because I'm going to remember it. But those individuals who are under palliative care, sometimes they may not want to eat. Sometimes they may not be they may not have an appetite. But as we said many, many times, one man's munchie can be another man's appetite, can be another man's or another woman's desire to eat something. So it's for me, cannabis medicinally, I mean, such a broad range of the ability to help. Now, a CBD heavy ratio is going to help an individual with the inflammation, and they're not going to be psychotropic. It's not going to have that psychotropic effect on them. It's going to be beneficial for their anti-inflammatory property and some of the pain relief. We are the Cannabis Chronicles. Shout out to our friends of the show. We are always appreciative of you and all that you do. So at this point, this is where cannabis shifts from being recreational to being functional, and being functional for wellness. Friends of the show, Best Buds Magazine. Shout out to DC, uh, everybody in ATL, DC, James, Emma. Um, you can check out their magazine on bestbudsmagazine.com. That's bestbudsmagazine.com. And you can check out our vlog. You can see the old studio because we did vlogs back then when we were on Instagram Live. And so it was pretty cool. You can check out all kind of really cool stuff. Also, listen, check out Pen Game Publishing. Uh, they have some really cool books, some really cool children's books. So if you have a child in your family and you want to introduce them to the lifelong, I call this a lifelong love of reading. I'm looking at Miss A's library, and she is a huge Stephen King fan. I am too. If you're a Stephen King fan, shout out Stephen King. Shout out to you, Stephen King. Thank you for scaring us. We had a question years ago, and the question was like, what if your dad was Stephen King, or we went to Edgar Allan Poe, and you were a kid, and your dad was going to tell you a night bedtime story? Could you imagine your dad talking to you or telling you the Telltale Heart, or let's see, I could just look up here and see Christine, one of my favorite movies of all time. That car, that yo, I swear. And I think when I saw Christine, I God, I was still living at my parents' home, hanging out at my friend's house. It was a kegger party, and that's when VCRs. They had the VCR and they played the movie, and we're smoking beer and drinking weed, right? Smoking weed and drinking beer. And I remember thinking that was the coolest movie ever. And like I said, I was a teenager when it came out. So it came on HBO or something like that. And we were watching on HBO. And so it just had an impact on my life. It was always one of my favorite movies. So again, shout out to Best Buds Magazine and Pen Game Publishing, and check out their books. And you can check out our vlogs. You can check out the news, and you can check out their old studio. Again, shout out to another friend and partner of the show, Sage Genetics. You can check them out on our Instagram. If you have Instagram, you can check them out and become their fan. It's Sage underscore genetics, TIXGENETIX, and that's at Instagram.com. Check out the classes. Oh, excuse me, didn't mean not to do that. I gotta edit that out. But what you could do is you could check out classes with them. He has a book coming out, and also check out some really cool pictures of his cultivars. He has a really cool, some really cool plant pictures up there. All right. So again, shout out to our friends Best Buds Magazine and Sage Genetics. All right, Candy Fam, let's take another look and take another puff of perspective. So GI disorders are often invisible. People deal with discomfort quietly. I mean, I know how I am when I have discomfort, GI discomfort, whether it be you know constipation or diarrhea. There's a whole different perspective. But could you imagine having to deal with that every single day and that discomfort every single day? So what we're seeing are more people are open to conversations around their gut health. I mean, even though it's a private situation, people are opening up to that conversation about their gut health and how what it the see one of the things I've said to folks many, many, many times, and I mean this is one of the things that I've when we started breaking down cannabis and how the cannabinoids affected our bodies, I knew because I started out as a healthcare professional. I didn't get involved with this as an outsider as far as healthcare is concerned. I was working as a pharmacy technician. Actually, I was, you guys might remember the company's gone, but we still did that. It looks like wow, I just got a flashback of one of you. Have you ever seen when you get the memories in your videos? And I think I got a memory from 11 years ago and looked at the picture, and I think it was an older client of mine when I used to work with the development to disabled adults. So shout out to the people who help people. I mentioned, being working as a pharmacy technician and a wellness ambassador for Rite Aid. I would walk around and ask people, "How did you get your wellness? How's your wellness? Did you have your flu shot?" I'm part of those people. We did that. But shout out to the people who help people, whether you're helping homeless folks or at-risk youth or developmentally disabled adults. It takes a special kind of love. Takes a special kind of individual to want to help and want to do for others, because it's sometimes certain things are difficult. I'm gonna say hard. I'm gonna say they're difficult. They're not hard, but you have to make sure that you can handle that. So shout out to those people. Shout out to people who help people. So we're seeing that in that open conversation, that cannabis is entering that broader wellness conversation. So in the story from High Times highlights the story, and I got a kick out of this one. Now, a few years ago, there is an artist, and his name is Afro Man. And because I got, because I got, I think that's his only song that I know. I'm quite sure he has other music, but apparently his home was raided by law enforcement, and they thought, they ran down on this hip hop artist. He obviously wrote a song about getting high, so they thought they probably were going to get the jackpot. And they ran down in old dude's house, and They didn't find nothing. They didn't find anything. But oh yeah, one thing they did find, and I found this funny. Um, in the video, because everybody has videos in their homes, and they do with doorbell cameras, baby monitors, nanny cams, and apparently, this was the part that made me laugh. Apparently, he they caught they caught one of the deputies or police officers or whatever it is in that district, and they stole a piece of cake and they ate it. And there's a song out. I only heard snippets of the song, and it's called Lemon Pound Cake by Afro Man. So Google that song, look it up, download it, and like it, because apparently this song was a clap back at the police after they raided his house. They didn't find anything. So then the cops, the police, had the audacity to then look at the music, sue him for portraying them as Keystone Copish, as you know, in a buffoonery and a clownish way. So they sued because they called it defamation of character. And they went through this whole, how could you do this to the police officers, blah, 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 blah. And they had their lawyers, and he had his lawyers, and they went to court, and they lost that case. So I am like, this is the funniest thing to me. I couldn't stop laughing. First of all, I love that song. I don't know if you guys ever heard that song. But if you never heard the song by Afro Man, Because I Got High, I'm not sure of the exact title, but if you Google Afro Man, everything's going to pop up. But this whole thing, and the other song, Lemon Pound Cake. So that song is a clap at the police who broke into old dude's house, and one of the cops, deputies slash whoever, sheriffs, took a piece of pound cake, lemon pound cake to be exact. So should that cop be fired? I mean, I know it sounds like, oh, it's just a piece of cake, but he stole. Don't they take an oath of efficacy? That's efficacy. The efficacy is medicine. Ethics, there you go. They ethically bound? And does that, I would hope that police officer got in trouble somehow. I would hope he had, some kind of, he got a write-up or something. I mean, people work hard for that, especially the prices now, man. Shoot. The president, he probably voted for Trump too. That cop, probably the deputy slash sheriff slash whatever police officer, might have been a Trump supporter. And I don't care who you support in politics, but the prices of food are expensive. So who knows how much that slice of yellow pound cake really cost? The world may never know. I am your boy, Dr. Bong. We are the Cannabis Chronicles, a weekly candid cannabis community conversation brought to you by Starr Enterprises. You can check us out at starrenterprises.com or the starrenterprises.com. The website is in being worked on. So we will have that up and running very, very soon. But if you want to reach out and leave a message, we actually have, you can actually leave fan mail on, if you join us, if you want to check us out on one of the, I'm reaching for my notes. If you want to check us out on one of the, the, uh, the platforms for the podcast, we have the podcast is on, get my notes here. Okay, we're on Apple Music, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon Music, iHeart, Podcast Index, Buzzsprout, and you can always check us out on YouTube. So you can like and follow us on all of those platforms: Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pod Index, Buzzsprout, which is the mothership. Shout out to Buzzsprout. I like them. They show me really cool um, information and tidbits, and it's kind of cool. And also YouTube, you can follow us there on YouTube as well. It's kind of crazy because I looked at it like I was looking at it in a in a microcosm. So I was looking at the numbers, and I had to learn my lesson from Instagram Live, because we would shoot the show, we would do the show, and then there would be like maybe 2, 3 viewers, maybe listeners. But then when the numbers came out, there would be 10 or 15 views, 20 views. So what? And shout out to Emma, Emma Starr, my daughter. Shout her out. So, she said to me, "Dad, people don't tune in at the exact time of the show, so they listen to the show afterwards." So that's where the increase in numbers comes up. So thank you for listening to the show. Those of you who are going to listen afterwards are going to download the podcast in one of those platforms. We truly, truly, truly appreciate you. So I gotta tell you, man, I think that Afro Man, it was great. He turned the experience into music and commentary. And like I said, when the case went to court, the jury sided with him. But you know what? The crowd had already made up its mind, our mind. Listen, fam, cannabis, cannabis culture, we don't wait for your permission. We don't ask you, can we do this? We don't ask you, can we do that? When back in the day when we had to, be more clandestine with our cannabis consumption, shout out to my boy. I was got an email. We were I'm shooting emails back and forth with a lot of friends of mine, and I'm looking to do more of the education stuff. And shout out to Happy Monkey, shout out to Vlad, and shout out to Ray from Happy Monkey. And it's interesting because our relationship, like I said to Vlad, um, they were the first company that I got my first swag from, my first my first merch, what do you want to call it, from in the industry, in the cannabis industry. And it was a few, I think it was like a lanyard and some stickers, but it was the first UC, adult use, AU connection that I had met. I had met folks in the medical dispensaries. I had worked in the medical dispensaries, but my boys from Happy Monkey were the first one. So anyway, we were, and this is going back to before they had passed, before 5 years ago, when they passed the legalization. So everything was very clandestine. So I'm outside, and it was a rainy night, and this is when I still lived upstate. So I would like literally get off work. I would wait till the event. It was like most events were like at 7, so it wasn't much longer. I had to just drive to the event, park my car, go to the event, and um, it was a thing called Canna Gather. Shout out to Josh and his team in Canna Gather. They were doing this thing, and I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but it was a networking of more business-minded individuals, and it was very suit and tie. And my conversation with folks was, well, I work in a medical dispensary. What are your needs? Da 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 da. And it wasn't really the my crowd, the crowd that I was looking to educate. So I didn't like to smoke in my car. So I was about to smoke and then leave. So I'm outside smoking, 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 and I smelled this young brother was out there smoking too, and his weed smelled really, 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 really fire. So we start talking, we chopping it up, and it ended up being uh, Ray Ramon Reyes from Happy Monkey, and like I said, just really cool young brother. And so we chopped it up for a minute, and then out comes Vlad, and it was, like I said, it was raining, so they were ready to dip anyway. And it was, like I said, it wasn't a you, it was more so business. And so we had to, so basically we chopped it up. So have I don't know, I what do you call that? I credit them as my first adult use swag and my first, and then everything else, came after that. So our culture responds. We adapt, and we speak for ourselves. We don't ask for anybody's permission. And shout out to my friends. And I said that to say that shout out to you guys because, hey man, they did it. These gentlemen are gentlemen who are from the legacy community. And if you don't know what legacy is the community of cannabis professionals who were established before there became the Office of Cannabis Management or the cannabis. What is it? The Cannabis Bureau in New York and in different places. So and this is what the thing that this really kind of got me is that how did a wannabe fledgling system not learn anything or want to learn, not to say want to learn anything from the established market? That made zero sense to me. It always did. It will never equate to anything to me, but just again, it goes back to, and I said it before, to unfortunately to the racism that permeates everything in America. We are the Cannabis Chronicles. I am your boy, brother Bong. We are a weekly candid cannabis community conversation, and we have so many friends. We have so many uh, really cool. Uh, how do I say that? How cool connects people that we roll with, and I gotta say, some of the really one of my major cannabis memories in this space are definitely tied to this next friend of the show, Cannabis Society. So, Cannabis Society um, is it's a group of like-minded individuals who are really about cannabis education, cannabis access, and cannabis community. So what that means is that they want access for everyone, not just the big money people, but the people who can and the people who can afford to play in this game, but the people who were affected in this game before it became legal. Let's not get it messed up. Uh, let's not get it fucked up. There were a lot of people who've gone to jail, gone to prison for just a plant, and now it's legal, and people are making money off of it and not learning from, and not recommending to, and not giving knowledge to, and not doing a lot of things for the culture. And that's one of the things that, for me, I feel Happy Monkey has always been about the culture. They don't do it for the clicks. They do it for the culture. So, friends of the show. And as I said, just like Happy Monkey, Cannabis Society is one of those places, one of those groups who have done it from before it was cool to be part of this, from before it was legal to do this. So if you want to join the platoon, if you want to be boots on the ground, and shout out to Grizz, Abe, Sam, Star, Nori, Cheddar, everybody from the group, because you can be those boots on the ground. So check out their website. It's cannaware.org. That's CANNAWARE.org. And join the Cannaware United Network. This platoon, this network can tie you into those things. And then you will know what's going on in 420. Like last night, we were talking about there's like 420 falls, and happy 420 and happy I don't know if it's April Fool's is a day, but happy April Fool's. But we were talking about it yesterday, and 420 falls on a Monday this year. So everybody's looking at events. So it's not going to be a weekend thing. I think it's a Friday, something going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a thing on Monday. So if you join the Canaware United Network, you become those boots on the ground. You can participate in these really, really cool things. And I got to tell you, like I said, memories are created in those moments. So shout out to our boy Grizz, Abe, Sam, Star, and everybody else over at the one and only Cannaware Society. Also, shout out to our friends at Chill Pipes at the Chill Store. You can check them out at chillstore.com. Our boy Justin and his team. Thanks for Black Beauty and her and I got back together. for a minute the other day. I had a little pull on the Bong when I went home, so it was great to see her. So I told her you said hello, and shout out to her. But yeah, man, and check out their website and chillstore.com, and you too can have your own Black Beauty or all. I mean, there's just that's just that's just one of the amazing apparatus they have for consumption. So shout out to the team at Chill Pipes. We are the Cannabis Chronicles. I am your boy, Dr. Bong. All right, Canna fam, let's take another puff of perspective. So health. GI disorders, GI disorders include IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and let's face it, those three conditions right there are. I mean, I think I've seen commercials, and I know of at least, including Professor Waffles, at least 5 to 7 people who have deal with one of these IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, and you know what? Those conditions, what they come with inflammation. We talked about that. They come with pain. They come with irregular digestion, and they come with nausea. So, as we said earlier, how does a person balance that life? How do you balance? You know, you have to eat. You you get hungry. Your body is craving food for sustenance and nourishment, but you know that if you have food, you may run the risk of having a bad episode. So many people have to watch exactly what they eat, watch exactly what they intake, and see whether it be food or dairy or beverages like that. So, but according to some research compiled by Normal, cannabinoids have been studied for their potential roles in reducing gastrointestinal inflammation. There we go. Inflammation. Modulating gut motility, managing nausea and vomiting. There you go. Irregular digestion. Nausea, and improving appetite. So one of those things, because again, if you fight that battle, then you're going to turn off from wanting to be an individual who consumes. When you eat, you don't want to eat because you don't want to have a bad situation. You don't want to have to rush running to the bathroom. You don't want to be nauseous. You don't want to be vomiting. You don't want to have diarrhea. So, as I said to you, my friends, I would take my time to say this one. Okay. This is where endocannabinoid system becomes part of the conversation. If you don't know what the endocannabinoid system is, my friends, do yourself a favor. After you check out the show, thank you for checking it out. Thank you for listening. But do yourself a favor and learn about the endocannabinoid system, because then you can be part of the conversation. Because what happens with the endocannabinoid system is it plays a major role in so many things. It plays a major role of maintaining balance in digestion, balance in your gut retention, balance in um, pain, and then also regulating inflammation. Okay, so you have pain relieving benefits of the cannabinoid. So, it's not always about being elevated. It's not always about getting high, but it's definitely about getting better. And cannabis in the studies, and again, you can Google this yourself. Don't just believe Dr. Bach. You can do this and Google this yourself and find out that these products and these the endocannabinoid system is real, and that these cannabinoids are real that are that are in cannabis and in different ratios and different amounts. I'm sorry, I'm a little tongue tied. I'm having a little tea. Okay. But I'm gonna drink my tea first. Hold on. So cannabis is not a cure for GI disorders. Make that perfectly clear. Excuse me. Cannabis is not a cure for GI disorders, but it is part of an evolving conversation around symptoms management and what? Quality of life. These are the things that Professor Waffles and I say to you guys all the time. We want to help you improve the quality of your life. We want you to feel better We want you to experience a day or a week or a month or a year or a lifetime without dealing with these GI disorders. But we got to make sure that we have, like I said, we got to make sure that we have a credible conversation, not just um, hyperbole, not just anecdotal stuff, not just what do you call it, hyperbole, anecdotal, or street words. This is just saying for, but anyway, but make sure that there's actually some research behind it. Make sure urban legend. It's not just urban legend. It is actual factual. And if you could back that up, if you could find something, and you could get that information as factual, then you could follow that up. Then you have a little bit. You have a larger. Excuse me, team. We have a solid, more solid ground to stand on when you're talking about this. It goes back to the beginning. As I said, folks, I had to navigate the waters alone. Like I said, when I met Ray and Vlad, I wasn't with my team. I didn't have Professor Waffles or Yanni or Ty or Maria Ma or anybody. It was just me. And so I had to understand that what I was doing was a long game. It wasn't a short game. And I'm so glad that we made it to this point. We talk about we are 5 years into the legalization of cannabis in New York State. So that prior 5 years, I was working in the medical side. So I am looking at, October of this year, October 2026. I started this, what is it, October 18th, 2016? I believe the date was when Pharmacanis finally opened up because I had been working. We had been on site since June or July, but we didn't open till October because we were waiting for a inspection from New York City, and that was one of my first understandings that just because you want an inspection to be done by New York City doesn't mean it's going to be done in a timely manner. So they paid us. We worked our 8 hours. We could not see patients. We could not touch or see or deal with the product. So we learned. So we did 5 days a week, 8 hours a day for like, I would say August, June, July, August. So we made it through August, September, and October. July, August, September. Yeah, July, August, September, we were on site, no patients. And then October is when we opened. So it'll be 10 years, it'll be 20 years on October 18th, 2026. What an amazing, amazing experience, fam. I mean, Canada fam, friends, stoners, like just the friends of the show that we talk about, like this is a new friend we just met, and I wanted to follow up with them, and I've established a nice, cool relationship with the owner and one of the owners of the company called Living Soil. So that's livingsoildmv.com. You can check out their website. You can check out their products. And like I said, I coined a phrase, fellas. I coined a phrase, team. I coined a phrase, and I like to say that we work with cannabis from the root to the fruit. What does that mean? Well, the root is, what do you need to put the flowers in? We need to put the seeds in. We need to put the clones in. We need to put it in soil. So we have relationships with Living Soil. We have relationships with Cultivator, and that is obviously Sage Genetics. So from the root to the fruit. So I love that fact. I love being able to do that and be an integral part of that. So check out their event. Once you check out their website, they have an event coming up this month, the 11th in Rochester. Sign up and get educated about the soil and about what they do. So shout out to Gaetano and his team all over the place in Rochester, New York. Shout out to BuzzFeed at buzzfeedweekly.com. Justin has a newsletter and really, really insightful. It's like I like one of the sections. It's too long to read, something to that effect. And so it's like he breaks it down in short version of some of these long articles that I get the chance to read through every single day. But I don't mind because, as I was saying to my dad, matter of fact, shout out to my dad. Love you, Pop. We were talking and we were talking about working, and I was saying to him, I love what I do. I love what I do so much. And so for me to learn, for me to educate, for me to teach, um, and I got to do a little extra. And they said, sometimes you got to do a little extra stuff, but because you love what you do, you're not doing extra work. You're actually doing more of what you love. So shout out to my pop, wise man, and we love you. We appreciate you. So um, shout out to you and shout out to Mom. We are the Cannabis Chronicles. I am your boy, Dr. Bong. And we do our thing here, man. We do our weekly candid cannabis community conversation. Like I said, I've been holding it up since we got back on stereo, but that's because my co-host, my homie, the one and only Wild Bill Wofford. First he was sick, and then he got sickness in the family. And so, like I said to him today, man, listen, just make sure you get your family squared away, and you're squared away because, God willing, we will be here and we will continue to do the show, and we will do it together. We will do the show again together. So, like I said, I'm trying a different situation here today, folks. So I have, like, we're on stereo. I'm doing that. I am recording a video for we're going to chop that up for oh man, what is that called? What is that? Oh, Speaker Hub. So we're gonna have that on Speaker Hub, and then I'm going to see if we can we're going to see if we can put this on my YouTube. So have some new stuff on the YouTube and see how that works. And I didn't do anything special today. I don't have my signature cannabis information T-shirts. I don't have my lanyard with the best buds information and all that stuff. So, but we are a work in progress. So we're working on this. So next time we do this, and as I said, this is just an experiment. We're just an experiment. I think people. I remember when Miss and this is one of those Pittsburgh names, but I had a science teacher in junior high school, and her name was Mrs. Needlebalski. Needlebalski, and I said that name because it's a very, 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 very Polish name. But one of the things that she taught us, and that was when I started learning to, and I just saw the commercial, and it says you observe, and then you come up with an idea, and then your hypothesis, and then you test, and you test, and you test, and you test. Well, this life to me has always been life has always been a hypothesis. You don't know what's going to swing. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know which doors are going to close, which doors are going to open, which windows are going to shut, which windows are going to smash. But we must be able, and we must be ready to do that, to go through that window, to go to that door, to make that effort to be that man or woman that we strive to be. And I say this every single day. And I want to say this to you, and I want to say this to everybody in the future. Life is what you make it. You make it harder or you make it easier on yourself. It's by the choices that you make. It's by the decisions that we stand by. And it's by the things that we do. All right, Canada fam, let's take a look at this puff. Let's take a look at this from another perspective. We are checking out the next segment of the show, and it's my favorite subject, potpourri. I said, why you like potpourri? Because it has the word pot in it. Now, I'm an old school consumer, so I have heard many, 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 many different names for this word, this thing we love. It's called cannabis. And so ever since I learned that word potpourri, I always thought that was a cool word. So now the segment is potpourri. So for me, cannabis is more than policy. And going back to what I said before about Happy Monkey and about the legacy market and about everybody else, it's culture. It's culture. It's something that was going on before we had the fancy dispensaries all over the country, from California, from sea to shining sea. The culture was going on beforehand, and then that culture. breeded a community, bred a community. I don't know. Shout out to Mullah Marv and the team from up top. I cannot tell you how many pounds of cannabis when it was illegal that we had to deal with and we dealt with on a regular basis every single day. I never said I was the smartest person, but I had moxie. And I remember when he said, could you do me a favor, man? So, I'm always looking out to help out a friend. So I'm like, yeah, sure, no, what I gotta do? What you need? What you need? So he said, yeah, man, I need you to hold down some bud for me. So I'm like, yeah, he's like, I'll bless you, I'll hook you up. So of course, free bud, I'm gonna do it. Team. And this is me, but I gotta tell you, when I saw all that bud, in them duffel bags, it was an interesting story. But I said, oh well, guess what? The price done changed. So yeah, so I did not. I swear to you, I don't think I bought weed for damn near a year. And this was the time when just having cannabis on a regular basis was a good thing. Like now, like I remember, like last year, like there was a time where I was getting a package a month. I mean, excuse me, a package a week. So I was getting an ounce of bud a week. So I wasn't smoking that much. So I'd have 3, 4 different ounces of different flower. And like I said, I would be gagging myself like, oh my God, I can't believe this is my life. I can't believe I do this. This is what I do. But oh my God. But yes, that is what it is. So I love, as you know, cannabis. So whenever I had the opportunity to do that. So I don't think I had to deal with that for a very, very long time. But that community, that culture bred that community because that man, we are not blood family, not biological family, but that's my family. I don't know how many times we had drinks together and food together and cookouts and family gatherings and always invited to that stuff. And me being, like I said, I'm a Leo. I'm a solo. I'm flying solo many times. So, for me to find that community through the culture, through cannabis, has always been something for me. So, New York legalized in 2021, as I said, and under the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act. 5 years later, the industry continues to grow. I'm growing. I look back and I say, I'm in a different space. I'm not exactly where I want to be at this point in time, but I'm not where I was. And we're not where we were. We're not clandestine anymore. Ray and I can consume that and not be worried about being run down on. We can consume different cannabises. We could talk about different cannabis. We could do a show like this and help people because, again, at the end of the day, fam, I'm not in this for the clicks. I'm not in this for the likes. I'm not in this for anything but to help people. Because I think I clicked on a switch when I became a healthcare professional many, many years ago before I started doing this. And the benefit of helping somebody when they can't help themselves, there's no other feeling. I can't explain it. You just have to feel it. You have to deal with it. And so for me to do that with something like cannabis, something that I already enjoyed for many, many years before I got involved with this, to be able to share that message and share it legally, that makes it a lot more different for us. So, like I said, we've reached the milestone. We reached the 5 million milestone. We reached 33.3, excuse me, we're 3.3 billion as with a B, billion with a B dollars in sales here in New York. So happy fifth anniversary in New York. And for everyone who celebrates, happy anniversary. Now, you know what I'm saying, fam? This isn't just legalization. It ain't. It's never been about just legalization. Um, and I remember when we had the conversation, and I appreciate what's going on in Washington with their rescheduling it. I don't think it should have ever been a Schedule One. Hell, I don't think it should have ever been illegal. And that's the next push is legalization. We have to have true legalization throughout the country so that we can really, really do the things that and take advantage of the things that hemp and cannabis can benefit us. Because what happens when you when you handcuff one, you handcuff the other. So when you handcuff cannabis, many times you're handcuffing hemp, which is a benefit to all of us. From A to Z, from C to shining C, you can find something that hemp can be beneficial for. Matter of fact, I just got the catalog from Canaware, and the uh, the amount of products that Grizz and the team are making with cannabis, excuse me, with hemp, are just amazing. So I'm going to drop that with you guys. I'm going to let you check that out when you get. I'm going to drop out that catalog off with you. So, like I said, this is the evolution. This is not this legalization. It's from plant to policy to culture to community impact. And like I said, another friend of the show, who to me is up there and like, because I have a lot of contacts in upstate New York, and one of the contacts has been a good friend, a good colleague of Dr. Bong for a very long time, and that's my man Kareem and his team. Oh, get this up real quick. I was balancing that the whole night. Kareem and his team at Big Gas Dispensary, aka Big Gas Worldwide. You can check them out at biggasdispensary.com. They're in New Paltz. Tell them Uncle Jeff sent you, aka Dr. Bond sent you. Ain't gonna get you nothing, but you never know. So just tell them I said what's up. Also, shout out to our friends at Pen Game Publishing. Check out their books. Check out Naya and the Number Garden. That's a really cute book. Actually, get the whole set. There's maybe 7 books, and like I said, if you want to turn on that young one in your life to reading, to have a lifelong love and joy of reading, do that for them. Because I, to this day, somebody said something to me years ago. It was like reading is not. It's not like something you have to actively do once you can. I mean, you don't look at a word. Like I'm not looking at the library and going like, guaranteed there's at least 20 Stephen King books in Miss A's library, and that's minimum. But I don't have to look at it and go, does that say Stephen King? I look at the word and you process the word. So it's not that hard. You just got to learn how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, then you're going to do it. You're going to want to do it all the time. Like I said, I read articles every single day about what we do, about this cannabis thing. And so while you're at Big Gas Dispensary, find out about something and ask them if they have this particular cultivar. Our cultivar spotlight this week is ACDC. That's right, ACDC. It's high in CBD, low in THC. The profile of it is calming, clear-headedness, and non-intoxicating. So which means you get a nice buzz, but you don't get an overloaded, overwhelming experience. So listen, this what I do is I try to tie in the strains with the condition that we talk about during the show. So like I said, somebody who's going through GI issues, GI situations, they're going through that 24/7, but you can't consume 24/7. You have to sometimes work. So for me with my chronic pain, a 1-to-1 ratio with CBD and THC works wonders for me, and it doesn't give me the high intoxicating effect, you know? So check it out. And so what you want to do, what we want is balance without the overwhelm. We want to feel what we want to feel. We want to feel better without feeling overwhelmed. I'm your boy, Dr. Bong. We are the Cannabis Chronicles, a weekly candid cannabis community conversation. And we're chopping up today about GI disorders. And I cannot believe it's been an hour already. And I did this by myself and I did it solo. So, digestive health is foundational. And understanding your body is power. not just a little bit. That's a lot of power. So cannabis may not be, as I said before, may not be the answer for everyone. But the conversation, you know what's happening, folks, don't you? It's growing. And that matters. This is the Cannabis Chronicles. I'm Dr. Bong. Stay informed, stay intentional, stay lifted responsibly. Good night, friends, stoners, and Canna fam. I'm your boy, Dr. Bong, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.